Good morning. Look at you all bright and early. Did we have the conversation with the previous recorded interviews that you had done? Did you start to do that yet?
Oh, you talking to me?
Yeah, you're the only one here right now. On our call, if you remember, I made notes that you were going to be calling some of those older interviewed people.
Yes, no,
No.
I have
Okay.
not.
Did did you have the meeting or the phone call with the, and I don't have my notebook on Lori Mangan in front of me, the estate planner, was it? Or the 8 people that
Tomorrow,
tomorrow? Okay.
with the estate planner and the lender.
Okay.
And they're the ones that called the meeting, so that was
Yes.
good.
But the estate planner was also the one that gave you the 8 references, yes?
That was the attorney.
Attorney, okay. Any progress with any of them?
A lot of the contacts, the estate or the financial planner knew, and she's tried to connect us with 3 of them now, and they haven't come to fruition. And then I talked to 2 more accountants last week. Too much business, not taking clients.
What is going on in your town?
They've all said that there's a shortage of accountants.
It's crazy. Listen, that's not far-fetched from what I've heard from others. Recognize one of the things that I had mentioned before is I'm actively seeking to purchase accounting firms because many of them are owned by late 50s and 60s gentlemen in their very older ages where they're wanting to get out. They want to sell their book. And
Right.
there's no, insurgence of 25-year-olds coming into to the marketplace. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Did we at least ask, hey, I recognize you're so swamped, but what are you doing with the people that are buying, selling, divorcing, marrying, dying? What are you doing with those folks? Because I can take care of them. Did you go that far with it yet or no?
I did. And
Anything?
they said, well, I really don't do anything with them. And I said, well, that's something that I can help you out with.
Yeah.
And then they said, well, we'll keep you in mind.
Oh, no, 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 no. I don't like that. All right. Well, we'll work on that. All right.
I
Good morning.
know.
Good morning. Bob Willis, good morning. I don't know you. If you have the ability to come on video, that would be wonderful. I appear to know the other folks that are here. Heather, good morning, darling. Welcome back. All the parties are
Morning.
done, right? All the parties are
Yeah,
done now?
all the
All right.
parties are done, graduations are done, friends were sent back to New Orleans. We're good.
Excellent. Excellent. Wonderful. Bob Willis, good morning. Do we know each other, Bob?
No, this is my first time.
Oh, dear Lord. The pressure's on, brother. Hey, good morning to you, right? So how did you even find out about us?
Um, I found out from the senior call
Okay.
when Corey used to be on that, and I followed some of Corey's things.
Okay. Very good. Well, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So I'll do the formal introduction since you're newer to the call. My name is Paul Conti. I am the perspective coach. My intention always is to share an altered perspective, help you see things through a different lens, which enhance your personal and your professional growth. We need to make more money, Bob. That's the bottom line. What profession are you in, my friend?
Real estate.
Excellent. Okay. So as we go along this particular 30-minute testosterone shot, if there's anything you want clarity on, Paulie, slow down, repeat that. Please stop me. Don't let me run on because you're coming into not a particular like, hey, this is the call, the first call. Welcome, everybody. This is what we're going to do today. I'm just running a gunning, brother. We're looking to help you put yourself in a position to make money as fast as possible. So you can always stop me. All right. Gang, good morning. Let's do this today. Here's the thought process. By the way, in my private coaching group, I tend to send 1 or 2 messages a week to that particular group. The message I've been sending lately are 15-second video clips of me in the gym by myself. Kid you not. Nobody's there. Nobody's there. I don't know if it's like the summer and people are taking a break. Like, okay, well, it's the summer. I don't need to take care of my heart, my mind, or my body. I'm not sure. But literally, I'm taking videos and be like, okay, do what others aren't willing to do so you can get what others don't have. And that would be the thought process first thing in the morning. That being said, this particular call is in my mind thinking this way. A lot of things are coming at us in life, in marriage, in business, in everything that we're doing, all different directions, right? I believe that's nothing but temptation, just absolute pure temptation, distraction, temptation. So the thought process this morning would be this. Let's figure out one thing today. You know me, I say this all the time. Can you pick one thing from this call that you can implement immediately that has an impact in your life? If not, don't come back. I'm not worthy. It's that simple. But the question is, are you humbly coming to this environment open to the idea of, hey, this guy just gave me one thing. I need to implement that. Here's the thought process today with all the busy. Crucial, critical. I hear this frequently. Here's my thought process. Crucial versus critical. So if there's one thing we can implement today, one thing today in 10 hours or in 10 minutes, you decide one thing we're going to implement. Would it be something that would be crucial or critical? Here's the thought process. And part of this is to say, slow down, be very attentive and in control of your words and how you are using them in the presentation, conversation, influential information that you're providing. Crucial is important. Critical is deadly. Think about a hospital. You're in critical care. You're in ICU. You're not in crucial care. You're in critical care. I want to make that distinction to you today because sometimes I hear people say that this is crucial. And when I really break that down, I recognize, wait a second, that was life altering. That was teetering on death. So if we are to take now, again, growth, personally or professionally, in your marriage, in your faith, in your business, your bank account, you apply it any way you want to apply it. Here's the thought process. And I will lead first by example. You guys can then jump in and share with us something that you're going to do today. This would be like nothing else matters. I must implement this today in the next 10 hours or 10 minutes. Otherwise, my business will not succeed. My business will not financially thrive. I will not be able to bring in enough money to put food on the table. That's how critical this thing is that I should be implementing immediately. From my perspective, and again, I'll share first, here's my thought process. So there's a couple things that I'm working on. The one most important to me right now, and part of, we're interpreters. Interpreting, it doesn't necessarily matter what I say, it's how you interpret that. And everybody's going to interpret differently. So that's why I want a little bit of interaction after I get done sharing my example. Today, I see completing my convenience versus contribution module as a critical component of growth for me, period. Here's the thought process. And I'll share with you briefly what this is. It would be a 20-minute video with a pamphlet that when you click to order, I'm paying X number of dollars for this. I get the video link with the pamphlet. And it's literally going to break down what is in my head as I'm talking to you. That's the part that I have not completed yet. I've got the entire thing written out. I've got the diagram done. It looks fantastic. I want to add video to that. I want you to be able to click on that, order that, and have me talk to you. I don't know if that's good or bad, but from my perspective, if you want to mute me. But the idea would be, let me tell you what's in my head. Again, my perspective, not yours. However, my perspective could enhance yours or alter yours for the better. The thought process behind this is I've spent hours, days, and weeks putting together the entire module. What is convenience versus contribution? What does your mind interpret? Who are the people you're using and why? Let's assemble this here because In real estate, I profess this convenience versus contribution module will easily increase your bottom line. For the sake of this example, if your average sale price in your area is 400,000, it will increase your production by 2.4 million, period, hands down. It's a fact. It's like 2 + 2 is 4. That's how simple I made this convenience versus contribution module. What I need to do today is complete the video, the talking to you. Hi, my name is Paul Conti. Thank you so much for investing in yourself and believing that this convenience versus contribution module could enhance your life. Let me explain to you what's in my head. Hey, I'm whipping it up as we're going right here. That's what I need to do. And then walk you through the entire booklet, which is only 3 pages. It's not that big a deal. And then say, okay, this would be it. Give it to a few people, get their feedback, get their thoughts. Does this move you? Is it exciting? Maybe tweak it through chat or Grok or something like that with AI, and then give me back what is maybe that final thing there, put it together, give it to the marketing gurus behind the curtain, and start to sell and promote that. From my perspective, that's something I've invested hours and weeks into doing. And assuming it is absolutely amazing and wonderful, then somebody will buy that, and 10 people will buy it, and 100 people will buy it, and 10,000 people will buy it. Doing something once, even though it took me a month, I could be paid again and again and again. Now, it's a small dollar amount, but it's residualized over the course of time, only having to do something once. And it is extremely impactful. Everybody that I've taught this to, it is a life-altering perspective on how to build your business. To me, that is critical today. Nothing else matters. So after this call, and I've already been working on it this morning, but let's say I got another 9 or 10 hours in the day, there is nothing getting in the way of me completing that video. That is critical to the growth of Paul Conti and that particular coaching platform. Does anybody have any thoughts, questions, feedback based on what I shared with you? Nothing. Bob, you're new to the call today, not knowing all the kind of stuff that I do talk about. I'll share with you very briefly this strategy, and then I'd like your feedback, please. In real estate, are you using people out of convenience or contribution? Let me give you the definition. Now, it's my definition. It might not be yours. Remember, this is my perspective. Convenience is I'm using somebody because they sit in my office. I'm using somebody because my broker said to use them. I'm using somebody because I've used this person for 3 years. They've always done a really good job. I'm using this person because she's hot. I'm using this person because he's tall, dark, and handsome. I'm using this person for ease, simplicity, comfort. Flip side of the coin. Convenience versus contribution. My question always to you, the business owner, is this. How is that person or that institution contributing to the growth of your business? That's the question. Bob, what are your thoughts when I share those two things with you? Thank you for volunteering.
I really don't know. I don't quite have a handle on what you're talking about yet.
Okay, that's okay. So this is part of what I need to understand to make sure I provide clarity. Let me ask Lori, Bob, how long have you been in real estate?
About 18 years.
18 years. You've seen just about everything, brother. So here's a thought process. When you get someone, a buyer, for the sake of this example, under contract, you order a home inspection, or you give the phone number to the client to order the home inspection, yes?
Right.
Okay. You're using that home inspector because?
Because they've done a good job in the past.
Okay. So that would be convenience and a good job in the past. My question to you, now I'm sitting on your board. You have a company, board members. I'm one of your, I'm the COO. I'm one of the board members. Bob, just out of curiosity, you've been using this guy for 2, 5, 8, 10 years. How has he contributed to the growth of the company? How's he contributed to you? Not the good job that he's doing. They're supposed to do that. How's he contributed? Actually helped you grow the business?
Well, actually, I'm looking for some new people.
Wait, this is on a recorded line. This is not, I didn't prep Bob. I've never talked to Bob before. Right? Gang, listen to me very clearly. Bob, this is beautiful, right? So the thought process is this. Here's my take on this, and this will be in the module. I am looking for a partner who will contribute to the growth of the corporation so they can keep getting paid by the corporation and do the thing that's on their card. In this
Exactly.
case, it would be home inspector.
Right.
So we're looking to bridge the gap between provider of a service, and a partner, someone contributing to the growth of the corporation. I believe you can and will find someone that loves you, will do a great job, and will contribute to the growth of the corporation. They just haven't been taught. They think they're supposed to be a great home inspector. No, your card tells me you are. So you don't need to focus your energy on that. You already do that really, really well. So the question is, Bob Willis, home inspector, the question is, would you be interested and willing to learn how to contribute to the growth of my business so you can keep getting paid by this business? Would you be interested and willing to learn?
Of course.
Folks, I didn't pay him. This is not a setup. I've never met Bob before. My point is, all of you should be able to take this one thing away today. Take inventory, take stock. You're the one doing all the work. Where's the team? Where are the partners? If Bob, as the home inspector, has also been doing his particular profession for, I don't know, let's say 10 years, and he's really good at what he doesn't kill deals. He does a nice job of explaining without extinguishing the deal. I kind of like that. Well, that's what the home inspector is actually supposed to do. So let's not get too excited when you find one that does their job, albeit that might be a challenge as well. But let's just assume you got a guy or a girl that does a nice job with the home inspection. Wonderful. My question is, if you had that intimate discussion, how do you think they'd respond? Folks, I've never talked to Bob before. We've never met. So now this altered perspective, the 3 words that I use that I'll share with you in the module and here again, would you be interested and willing to learn? Just about everybody says, yes, great. Now let me teach you what that means. So now the thought process is maybe, and you could tell me if I'm thinking differently, from a realtor's perspective, you think you're looking for a buyer or a seller. Be careful. That's a trap. It's a trap. Because at that moment, you'll sound like every other realtor who is a beggar. You're a beggar. We don't like beggars. So don't sound like one, because if you sound like one, I'm going to shut you off and shut you down and shut you out just like I would a beggar. So be very careful. Now, again, if you don't have somebody in your ear or on your shoulder tapping you, don't do that. Don't say that. You're going to do it because that's what you've been taught. That's what you've been systematized into believing your business grows through referrals. No, it doesn't. You don't even get paid for a referral. Why are you asking for a referral? You get paid for a client that closes, not a referral. You sound like a beggar if your empty hand is out and you are saying, can you please fill my empty hand with something I don't have? Holy smokes, much deeper conversation. Now you're coming from a place of scarcity, lack, something I don't have. I'm operating out of fear. Can you please help me? Oh my goodness, that's a trap. Paul Conte says, be a builder, not a beggar. Be a builder, not a beggar. And that mentality is easier said than done, which most things are, because it is actually in the activity that creates the income or the opportunity. So if we really think about this and we literally just take inventory and write down all the people that you are using in the module, it actually says, hey, let's put down the center of the page. On the left-hand side is convenience. On the right-hand side is contribution. I want you to write down everybody that makes money from you. You pick the column. I'm first going to define or give you my definition of convenience and my definition of contribution, not yours. Here's what I found. The reason I don't want yours is because most of the people that you're using, they're going to be in the convenience column. So clearly, you haven't been taught the accurate definition. What's the accurate definition? The one that you create for yourself. I don't go to Webster's. Convenience is easy. If it's easy, it's less rewarding. Just like if I did this all day, bicep girls. Whew, I could do this all day. This is easy. Real easy. Nothing will happen. There is no growth. The bicep's not going to grow. I'm not going to break a sweat. There's been no resistance, so there will be no growth. This is convenient. This is easy. I don't do that. Throw 30 pounds in my hand. Let me isolate and focus on the bicep with each single moment that takes me 15 seconds to get up and 15 seconds to get back down. And before you know it, I got drips of sweat on my head. And I'm feeling the resistance in the bicep. That's how you break the muscle down, and it actually grows when it's given the proper fuel. So there's a lot going on there. Business is no different. So if you really think about that and write down convenience, contribution, and then put the name in the column that is appropriate for what they've done. And keep in mind, giving your client a discount for services rendered is not a contribution to the growth of your company. Taking you to lunch, giving you a coupon, bottle of wine, saying thank you, hug, and a kiss is not a contribution to the growth of your corporation. If Bob Willis shows up here because he saw somebody talk about, hey, I want to break into the senior market, Paulie, what the hell did you talk about today? You didn't help me get into a senior market. Oh, yes, I did. Oh, absolutely. Because when you teach everybody that's in the convenience column how to be a contributor, I now put them on notice to get me what I'm looking for, to get me where I want to be, which means you already had what you thought you didn't have. Meaning, I like to meet some more probate attorneys. I like to meet more estate planners. Well, if you got everybody that was in the convenience column and educated and empowered them on how to do that, you'd have them in your life. They're already in your life. But you didn't attack this as the business owner. You saw them as what? Vendors. They're not vendors. Remember, people will aspire to the title you give them. They are not vendors. They're acting like vendors. I don't want them to be vendors. They are investors. They're investors. I want a return on my investment. That is the thought process. Bob, did that provide any clarity? You're still on mute.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Now, if we had the actual module and you have the 3-page workbook, I don't want to call it a workbook, but for the sake of example, the pamphlet in your hand, following along as I'm saying that, drawing the graph and saying, okay, has that home inspector contributed to the growth of your business? The answer would be no. We put them in the convenience column. The title rep you've been using, have they contributed to the growth of your business? Will they co-market, they co-brand, they give me flyers? That's not a contribution. That's what they all do. I'm talking about an actual contribution, and we break that down, put them in that column. The homeowner's insurance agent that you've been giving business to for years, convenience or contribution. These are the things that I would help you walk through in that module. That's what I'm talking about. Heath, give me an example. And I know you and I have spent some time on this as well. When you take a look at who you've been using, and you had a revelation when we first started speaking, what are the thoughts when you're hearing this convenience versus contribution? How are you interpreting this?
So you know me, I'm always quick to jump into action. So I'm like, I'm ready to like go take the 4 hours I scheduled to do like all of my business operations stuff today and make this part of it. So hearing this makes me kind of want to readjust my approach as far as like, I think it's going to be helpful to lay eyes on all the people that you've used as a business partner or vendor, and be able to truly like measure them. Is like you're going to be able to see the measurement on the contribution that they have towards your business. The biggest shift that I've had, I mean, I've only been working, coming to these for 2 or 3 weeks now. And the biggest shift that I have had in my own business and mindset is I have seen too many vendors as members of my board, and they have not really contributed. I've received like one referral from one lender in the 4 years that I've been an agent, and I'm giving all this stuff out. So this really takes it home to be able to like sit down and have a visual and a real way to measure, who's really contributing to your business and who's really a partner versus a vendor. So yeah, I think this is going to be super beneficial.
Yeah, you're quick to move too as well. So think about it, gang. If this was if that's your piece of paper, and this is in the module, so I'm giving it to you now. If that's your piece of paper, let's just pull a name out of the hat, right? I've used Jane from Title Company A. The question is, has Jane or that title company contributed to the growth of your business? I'm going to remind you what my definition is. Open house flyers, catering lunch for your open house, co-branding and co-marketing. Folks, that's generic. Everybody does that. That's not a contribution. Everybody does that. Here's the difference, and I'll just drop this in your mind. That title rep, I want you to think about this. If the divorce rate is 52% currently, when someone gets divorced, they order title. Your title rep probably knows a local divorce attorney and never thought to make that introduction because you weren't acting like an owner. You were acting like a realtor. You weren't thinking along that line. Again, altered perspective. So think about this. Here's a little juicy tidbit for you. The divorce rate's 52% right now. If you're a member of the CIA or a branch of the government, do you know the divorce rate there is 65%? Holy crap. What does that mean? Let me go hang out around government buildings. I'm not saying to do that. No. Don't misinterpret. But I have now come across two people that work for the government who are single in their 50s buying their homes from a realtor. I've now tuned that realtor in because those people have other friends in the branches of the government. We're now starting to do presentations for them. Holy smokes. You'd have never had that perspective from your broker. You'd have never got it from your title rep. You got it here. This is not arrogance. This is a gift from God I'm sharing with you. I see things differently. When I look at the data, it then alters how I act. And if you want people to react differently towards you, you better start acting differently towards them. So the question then is, that title rep has been doing the function of a service provider. That's not what I want in my business. I want partners. You have to interpret what the difference is. If you want my assistance, I'm giving it to you now. So if I sat down with that title rep and said, hey, it could be a phone call, gang. I love you. Heather, you're fantastic. You've been there for me for 3 years. You've done all my transactions. You are wonderful. I can't wait to continue to grow my business with you. I've hired a perspective coach. He's got really nice teeth and really cool hair. And what he's taught me is, I think she said that to me. What he's taught me is this. I could be making money with you. Let me give you an example. Title rep Heather. By any chance, when someone goes through a divorce, they've got to sell, buy, cash out, refi. Title is ordered with all three of those transactions. Have you ever gotten a title order from a divorce attorney in town? Yes. Great. I'd love to meet that person. Let me teach you how to make the introduction now. That's your one call. Today, you're done. That is a critical component of your growth. If you're not getting the divorce business, it's your fault. No, it's not. You didn't know. You may have gotten a divorcing client, but that's a cup of water. I want to get to the waterfall. That's the divorce attorney. So I'm growing with and through. Growing with and through. Are you interested and willing to learn how to contribute to my business in the same manner I've been contributing to yours? Heather continues to trip up by saying referral. I just need to stay in her ear longer. I don't want referrals. I don't get paid for them. You're going to introduce me to a client who's going to close using me, or you're going to introduce me to the professional that has the client that's going to close because they used me. That's how we get paid, gang. And the word referral is an instant fight or flight mechanical response from the recipient because you are a beggar. God gave us the fight or flight mechanism. Run when you're threatened or fight back when you can. They're not going to fight back. You put them in a hostile environment. You ask for something you don't have and put the pressure on them to give you something they don't have. What are they going to do? They're going to lie, and they're going to get out of that situation. They're going to tell you what you want to hear. We talked about that before. So don't give them the opportunity to do that. Educate and empower. Control the environment by controlling your words. Bob, I hope I see you again. This was just your first day. I don't know if this was helpful or not, my friend. For the sake of this example, Bob, my phone number is 856-905-7040. If you want to text me, good morning. Happy to have a call with you. I'll elaborate a little bit longer as to what we're doing here and what you may have digested today. Heather, thank you for the feedback. Bob, thank you for the
Thank you.
feedback. Any questions or thoughts for me before we go, gang? Take that today. There's your one thing. I believe it is critical. If you think it's crucial, you won't do it because that's important. There's a lot of important things. They are all distractions. Distractions to me, but you interpret as such. This provides great clarity. And just plot the names in the column where you believe they are. And the next step is maybe I do a little role play with Paulie to figure out how to get these people to wake up and do what they're supposed to do. We have to teach them. We have to teach them. Thank you for attending. God bless you guys. Laura, I'll see you later today. Let's make some money, gang. Bye-bye.